What's up, everybody? This is your boy here, and I'm gonna review Convoy, starring Chris Christopherson, Ernest Borgnine, Ella McGraw, Frank Leger, Burt Young, Seymour Castle, and Madge Sinclair. Like I say, excellent cast, excellent soundtrack, and excellent action when it comes but hell, it was directed by Sam Peckinpah, who was basically the Quentin Tarantino of the 1970s. And like I say, one of the most underrated hits of the 70s too, or should I say, a cult classic. I mean, with excellent casting, with Christopherson as Rubber Duck, Ernest Borgnine as Dirty Lyle, and Burt Young being Pigpen, which of course the Duck and Pigpen were only two characters that were also mentioned in an actual song by C.W. McCall, which of course whose real name was Bill Fries, who of course was in charge of the soundtrack for the film and had a credit under his real name, Bill Fries. And of course, with perfect casting of Christopherson, because Christopherson was also, everybody knows he was a country singer before he was an actor. And although I'm surprised, all them years in Italian promotional, C.W. McCall didn't, or if it wasn't for C.W. or not, because either way, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Christopherson didn't at least do a cover of the song, because Christopherson's just as good as C.W. McCall. Because C.W. McCall only got known for this song, but hey, he's just as good, but if not better than Christopherson. And actually, in the other songs of the soundtrack, with Kenny Rogers and Pick the Fine Time to Leave Me Lucille, Glenn Campbell and Southern Nights, and Blanket on the Ground by Billy Joe Spears, which I had to say is hell of a lot better than anything Britney Spears ever done. And but to the movie, I'll say excellent storyline and stunts. I mean, you can't talk about a trucker movie without the stunts, especially this masterpiece. I mean, come on, Trucker's Hell. Talk about one of the most epic scenes of rampage in a film that didn't involve any weapons, unless you count the 18-wheelers being used as weapons, flying through buildings and such. When they rescued their buddy, who was part of the convoy. I also gotta say some quotes in there too, like especially at the beginning when they're talking about, it's Albert Rubber Duck from Albuquerque, and Spider-Man talking about, hey man, I heard more stories about you than I heard of Jesse James. And of course, Dirty Lyle on the CB talking about bulldogs as pussy, a jab at Rubber Duck for driving a Mack. And of course, when it comes to being an excellent villain, Ernest Borgnine knocked it out of the park, along with a side villain with Seymour Castle playing the governor who was trying to be running for senator, showing his true colors. Who eventually showed his true colors to the Duck and the truckers, that when they had like a little campground, where they circled the trucks and all. And talk about some excellent stunts in this film. I already mentioned, with not only with the Trucker's Hell scene, but when Dirty Lyle commandeers this really good-looking Chevelle and leads them on a one-man hot pursuit deal. Only that come and try to side draft Rubber Duck, only to wind up jumping getting causing a jumping over a barn and plowing for this billboard. And woof, talk about an excellent crash wreck in that movie, along with an excellent wreck of Widow Woman's truck and at the beginning, but yeah, which that scene was it actually not even scripted, but they kept it in because of the aesthetic and all. And of course with Ellen McGraw being, like I say, she knocked it out of her part. Her character, who also became the potential love interest for Rubber Duck, who, of course, being the trucker cliche of a womanizer and all, of an ex and Spokane with two kids and a waitress he was cheating on at a at a truck stop, which of course was just part of the movie where they had the second encounter with Dirty Lyle and some of his boys, and then they have a little scuffle, which of course leads to Convoy where it was the Duck, Pigpen, and Spider Mike just leading them on a posse after sabotaging the cars, which led to Dirty Loud, Jack, and a Chevelle from that stoner couple, and woof, one of the most epic scenes besides when they're on the dirt road and the shortcut to New Mexico. That's when they had because they had made a good movie in the '70s. Besides, like wreck cop cars did. I mean, oof. Man, talking the carnage of the cop cars, and especially at the New Mexico roadblock, when they even had a bear in the air, and then they were trying to shoot, but until they learned on CV that the Duck was carrying explosives and all, or as the truckers call, a suicide jockey. And of course, with that, then they get that reporter who talks to various ones on the various social issues of social justice at the time, like of course the gas crisis, which of course led to the national 55 limit, which was the very hot button issue in the '70s, which of course made trucking a hit not only in the movie industry but the country music industry as well. Which, like I say, truckers is my favorite subcategory of country. A little off topic, but still. And the excellent side characters, especially with Burt Young as Pigpen, always made it. I'll say Burt Young's always one of them actors always knocked it out of the park, especially when he's talking with, actually in this movie. Although he did have an Easter egg under Paulie's trucking with on the side of his truck, which was an Easter egg to his character in the Rocky films. That's for another review. And of course with Franklin and Jay and managed to declare one of the best things they've ever done. And of course the whole final showdown at the end, where they had was the Duck versus the National Guard, and the whole spoiler alert deal where the Duck fakes his death after trying to ram his suicide jockey in front of the National Guard, which of course was also a reference to the song, but in the song it was the Illinois National Guard, not the New Mexico National Guard, because in the song the convoys took Chicago, not the outskirts of New Mexico and the Texas border and all. and of course which was a change that it made for the better, along, alongside alongside some of the lines at the beginning where it was like Texas noon at the 7th of June where they highball all over the place. And of course with the even funnier side characters was the was the Bible thumping hippies in the chartreuse microbus. Although microbus was supposed to be a term for Volkswagen buses, but instead it was like a chartreuse school bus turned into a church bus. And the movie song of the movie song had to go with Jesus Freaks on Grass. Down on the floor, stroking bars. These are starting the game. And of course, I gotta say, when it comes to casting, the action, the soundtrack, I gotta say, Convoy gets a definite 5 out of 5. I mean, when it comes to some movies based off song titles, at least make it literally to the song. And it's as close as that's ever been to any of that film of that concept. An overall 5 out of 5. I hope y'all enjoyed, subscribed, comment what you might want me to review next, and I might get to it. All right, y'all, enjoy.